My name is Marcus, and I used to think I knew my wife. Jessica and I had been married for 4 years, together for 7. I thought we were solid. I thought we were building something together. I was wrong about a lot of things. For weeks, Jessica had been different, cold, distant. She'd come home from her marketing job acting like I was an inconvenience in her life. When I tried to talk to her, she'd roll her eyes and say things like, "God, Marcus, you're so clingy. Can't I have some space? You're being dramatic, nothing's wrong. Maybe if you were more successful, you'd understand the pressure I'm under." That last one stung. I'm a software architect. I make good money, more than enough to support both of us. But Jessica had always been obsessed with status, with appearances, with being seen as successful. Her friends didn't help. They were all married to executives or entrepreneurs, posting Instagram photos from expensive vacations and designer shopping trips. Jessica would scroll through their feeds with this hungry look in her eyes, like she was missing out on something. "Look at Sarah's new Hermes bag," she'd say. "Her husband just bought her that for no reason." "We could get you a nice bag if you want one." It's not about the bag, Marcus. It's about having a man who thinks you're worth spoiling. I spoiled her plenty. I paid for everything. The rent on our downtown apartment, her car payment, her credit cards, even her spa treatments and girls' trips. But apparently, that wasn't enough. The text came on a Thursday afternoon while I was in a meeting. My phone buzzed, and I glanced down to see Jessica's name. "I'm done with you. He can give me more. I'm not settling anymore." I stared at the screen, reading it 3 times before it sank in. No explanation, no warning, no conversation. Just a cold, calculated dismissal sent via text message, like I was some guy she'd been casually dating. My colleague was still talking about database optimization, but I couldn't hear him anymore. My ears were ringing. My hands were shaking. He can give me more. So there was someone else. All those late nights at the office, all those work events and client dinners, she'd been building an exit strategy, and now she was discarding me like I was trash. I excused myself from the meeting and walked to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror. I looked the same as I had that morning, but something fundamental had changed. The man looking back at me wasn't a husband anymore. He was just some fool who'd been played. I took out my phone and typed back a single word. Understood. Then I put my phone away and went back to work. I finished my workday like nothing had happened. Attended meetings, wrote code, responded to emails. My mind was crystal clear for the first time in weeks. Jessica thought she was so clever. She thought she'd found her upgrade, her ticket to a better life. She thought I'd chase after her, beg her to reconsider, maybe even fight for her. She had no idea who she was dealing with. You see, being a software architect teaches you certain skills. You learn to think systematically. You learn to identify dependencies and failure points. You learn to execute complex operations in the correct sequence. And most importantly, you learn that the most devastating system failures happen when someone pulls the wrong plug at exactly the right time. I drove home to our apartment. My apartment, since my name was the only one on the lease. Jessica wasn't there, probably celebrating her freedom with her new man, whoever he was. I made myself dinner and opened my laptop. Time to do what I do best, engineer a solution. First, I logged into our bank accounts. We had a joint checking account that I'd been funding for years. Jessica had her own savings account, but it was laughably small. She'd never been good with money, preferring to spend rather than save. I transferred every penny from the joint account into my personal account. Then I closed the joint account entirely. Next, I called the credit card companies. Jessica had 3 cards linked to my accounts, cards I paid for, with credit built on my income and credit score. "I'd like to cancel these cards immediately," I told each customer service representative. Suspected fraudulent use. They were very helpful. The cards were canceled within minutes. Then I called her phone company. Jessica's phone was on my family plan, had been since we started dating. Another expense I'd been covering without thinking about it. "I'd like to remove a line from my account," I said. "Is this an authorized user?" "No, she's not authorized for anything anymore." Her phone would be disconnected by midnight. Finally, I called our landlord, Mr. Peterson. He was a decent guy, and I'd always paid rent on time. Pete, I need to let you know that Jessica and I are separating. I'll be staying in the apartment, but I want her name removed from any documentation. She's no longer authorized to be here. Sorry to hear that, Marcus. I'll update the paperwork. Do you want me to change the locks? That would be great, actually. I'll have someone out tomorrow morning. All of this took less than 2 hours. Jessica wanted to burn down our life together? Fine. But she'd be doing it without my money, my credit, or my support. I poured myself a whiskey and sat back to wait. Friday morning came and went without any word from Jessica. I worked from home, partly because I wanted to be there when the locksmith came, and partly because I was curious to see how long it would take for reality to hit her. The locksmith arrived at 10 a.m. and had the locks changed within an hour. I now had the only keys to the apartment Jessica had been calling home for 2 years. My phone stayed silent all morning. I almost started to wonder if she'd figured out what was happening, but then I remembered how oblivious Jessica could be about practical matters. She probably hadn't even tried to use her credit cards yet. At 12:47 p.m., my phone buzzed with a call from an unknown number. Hello? Marcus? Marcus, what the hell did you do to my cards? Jessica's voice was shrill, panicked. I canceled them. You can't do that, I was buying lunch. Actually, I can. They're my cards, my credit, my responsibility. This is insane. You can't just cut me off like this. Why not? You said you were done with me. I'm just helping you be independent. That's not— I didn't mean— Marcus, this is crazy! Is it? You found someone who can give you more, remember? Let him buy your lunch. She hung up on me. 20 minutes later, she called back. My phone's not working either. I removed you from my plan. You can't do this. I'm not doing anything to you, Jessica. I'm just no longer doing things for you. There's a difference. Where am I supposed to go? How am I supposed to contact people? I imagine your new boyfriend has a phone you can use. Silence. Marcus, please. Can we just talk about this reasonably? You didn't want to talk when you sent that text. You wanted to make a unilateral decision about our marriage. So I made some unilateral decisions about my finances. This is vindictive. No, this is practical. You said you didn't want to settle for me anymore. I'm just making sure you don't have to. She hung up again. I didn't hear from Jessica again until Saturday evening. When I did, it wasn't a phone call. It was pounding on my door. I looked through the peephole and saw her standing in the hallway, looking frantic. Her hair was messy, her makeup smeared, and she was wearing the same clothes from yesterday. Marcus, open this door right now! I opened it but left the chain lock engaged so she could only see part of my face. What do you want, Jessica? What do I want? I want you to stop this insane game and let me come home. This isn't your home anymore. Your name's not on the lease. That's my stuff in there. Those are my things. You can collect them at a reasonable time. Make an appointment. An appointment? Are you serious right now? Dead serious. Her voice cracked. Marcus, please. I don't have anywhere to go. What about him? The guy who can give you more. She looked down at her feet. That didn't work out. Really? What happened? He was married. His wife found out. I almost laughed. So you threw away our marriage for a married man who was using you? It wasn't like that. What was it like, Jessica? She started crying. I made a mistake, okay? I was stupid. I was confused. But we can fix this. We can't fix anything. You made your choice. It was just a moment of weakness. Everyone makes mistakes. Texting me that you're done with our marriage isn't a moment of weakness. It's a decision. And decisions have consequences. I started to close the door, but she grabbed the chain. Wait, Marcus, please, I love you. You love me? You have a funny way of showing it. I know I hurt you, but you didn't hurt me, Jessica. You freed me. You showed me exactly who you are and what you think of me. Thank you for that clarity. I closed the door and went back to watching Netflix. She pounded on it for another 10 minutes before giving up. Sunday was quiet. I cleaned the apartment, did some laundry, ordered groceries. It was peaceful without Jessica's constant drama and complaints. Monday morning, I got dressed for work like usual. As I was leaving for the office, I found Jessica asleep in the hallway outside my door, curled up against the wall with her purse as a pillow. She looked terrible. Her hair was greasy, her clothes were wrinkled, and she had dark circles under her eyes. Jessica. She jerked awake, looking confused for a moment before focusing on me. Marcus, thank God, I've been waiting for you. You can't sleep in the hallway. The building management will call the police. I don't have anywhere else to go. That's not my problem anymore. How can you be so cold? We were married. We loved each other. You stopped loving me the moment you started planning your exit strategy. I'm just catching up. She scrambled to her feet. Please, Marcus. I'll do anything. I'll make it up to you. I'll be a better wife. You're not my wife anymore. We're still legally married. Not for long. That hit her like a slap. You're filing for divorce? Already did. You'll be served the papers later this week. You can't just throw away 4 years of marriage. I'm not throwing it away. You already did that with a text message. She grabbed my arm. Marcus, please. I was being stupid. I was having a midlife crisis or something. It was just a joke. I looked down at her hand on my arm, then back at her face. Jokes are funny, Jessica. This was just pathetic. I pulled free and walked away. The divorce papers were served on Wednesday. Jessica showed up at my office on Thursday, somehow having gotten past building security. Mr. Hendricks? My secretary looked confused. There's a woman here who says she's your wife? I could see Jessica through my office window pacing in the lobby like a caged animal. Send her in. Jessica burst through my door looking wild-eyed and desperate. Marcus, you have to stop this. I signed the papers because I thought it would bring you to your senses, but you're actually going through with it. Of course I am. We can go to counseling. We can work this out. There's nothing to work out. You made it clear that I'm not enough for you. I'm just agreeing with your assessment. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean when you said he could give you more? She opened and closed her mouth like a fish. I meant, you meant exactly what you said. You thought you'd found someone richer, someone who could give you a more exciting life, someone better than me. But I was wrong. No, you were right. You do deserve someone better than me, someone who'll put up with your selfishness and materialism and constant need for validation, someone who'll let you treat them like a backup plan. That's not fair. What's not fair is spending 4 years supporting someone who was just waiting for a better offer. She collapsed into the chair across from my desk. What do you want from me? What can I do to fix this? Nothing. There's nothing you can do because there's nothing to fix. This isn't broken. This is finished. I don't understand how you can just turn off your feelings like that. I didn't turn them off. You killed them when you showed me how little I meant to you. She stared at me for a long moment, and I could see the exact moment she realized I was serious, that there would be no reconciliation, no second chance, no happily ever after. You're really done with me, she whispered. I'm really done. She stood up slowly. I hope you're happy. I'm getting there. She walked to the door, then turned back one last time. For what it's worth, I really did love you. No, you didn't. You loved what I could provide. You loved the security and the stability and the bills being paid. But you never loved me enough to be loyal to me. That's not true. Jessica, if someone offered you $1 million right now to stay married to me, you'd take it in a heartbeat. That's not love. That's just convenience. She didn't deny it. She couldn't. After she left, I sat back in my chair and looked out the window. For the first time in months, I felt light. Free, 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 free.